The scream of metal splits the dawn. Flames lick the torn sky as Kale drags the human from the wreckage. Her visor flickers, cracked like the last shard of hope. He lifts her by the collar, expecting fear. Yet her eyes, gray as storm glass, meet his without trembling. "Do it," she whispers. Her voice shakes him more than any weapon could. Who dares invite death with such calm? Who built fire into her veins? As the wind howls through the battlefield ruins, their pulse lines sink, glowing faintly through fractured armor. For the first time, Kale hesitates. The code of the Verkai forbids mercy, but something ancient stirs beneath his chest, an ache that feels almost human. The suns rise over the fallen, painting them both in blood and light. Beneath the silence, something fragile begins to hum. Not hate, not duty, something he doesn't yet understand. Kale drags her toward the Verkai citadel, each step echoing through the hollow ruins of Arendor's bones. The human doesn't resist. She watches everything, memorizing shadows, counting guards. "You think chains make you safe," she murmurs, her voice brittle but steady. Kale ignores her words, but they burrow into him. No prisoner should sound like a prophet. Beneath the dark spires, alien sentinels bow as he passes, the air thick with whispers of betrayal and awe. The interrogation chamber hums with cold energy. Sira stands in the center, light strips tracing the outline of her form. Kale circles her like a storm, his voice low and steady. "What are you hiding, human?" She meets his gaze, unblinking. "The same thing you are." Silence fills the room. Thick, dangerous, almost tender. The hum of alien tech syncs again with their heartbeats. That night, Kale watches the stars from his chamber window. The constellations shimmer like scars across the void. His reflection in the glass splits between alien and something else. Below, he hears her singing softly in her cell. A tune so human, yet it carries the rhythm of his people's morning chants. He grips the edge of the ledge, torn between duty and something that feels dangerously like longing. Before dawn, Kale returns to the cell. Sarah sits cross-legged, her face calm beneath the harsh blue light. "Why do you not fear me?" he asks. She smiles faintly. "Because you already don't want to hurt me." Her words hit like a blade slipped between armor seams. Kale steps back, his pulse flaring bright. Somewhere in the distance, alarms begin to sound. The humans are coming. He looks at her one last time, and for the first time he's afraid, not of battle, but of what she's awakened inside him. Rain hisses against the citadel's upper spires, washing crimson dust from alien stone. Kale stands before her cell again, but this time the silence feels heavier, deliberate. He opens the barrier and steps inside. Sarah looks up from the corner, her eyes raw with exhaustion, yet still alive with defiance. "You came to finish it?" she asks. He doesn't answer. He hands her a flask instead. Their fingers brush, electric, unwilling, dangerous. The air hums, the storm outside echoing the turmoil between them. Kale was raised to see humans as hollow vessels of greed. But her voice carries sorrow, not conquest. "You've lost someone too," she says quietly. He freezes. The truth in her words cuts through years of armor. Outside, thunder growls like a god who disapproves of what's about to begin. The next day, Kale brings her to the Hall of Echoes, a chamber of living stone that records memories. He forces her hand onto the crystal surface. Visions burst forth. Human soldiers burning villages, alien children crying, both sides painted in cruelty. Yet, within the chaos, Kale sees something that chills him. Humans carrying Verkai insignia. "That's impossible," he whispers. Sarah's jaw tightens. Nothing's impossible when power wants a reason to kill. Their eyes meet again, and for the first time, truth feels more dangerous than war. Night bleeds into the citadel. Kale cannot sleep. He walks through corridors haunted by holographic faces of ancestors watching him silently. Every oath he swore feels thinner now. paper against fire. In her cell, Sarah hums the same song as before. Soft, unafraid, almost comforting. He realizes the melody mirrors an ancient Verkai lullaby. Did she learn it, or was it always inside her? The question claws at him, rewriting what he knows of difference and belonging. At dawn, the council summons Kale. Their eyes burn like molten glass. "You grow weak," hisses the elder. "She is clouding your mind." Kale kneels, fists clenched but cannot lie. She speaks truth. "Our war was built on deception." Gasps ripple through the chamber. The elder's voice cuts the air. "Then you are no longer Verkai." The sentence lands like a blade. Outside, Kale stands beneath the twin suns, stripped of title and home. But for the first time, he feels free to choose. Kale returns to Sarah's cell, his armor discarded, his pulse dimmed. "They've cast me out," he says simply. Sarah studies him in silence, then stands. "Then we're both prisoners now." He steps closer, inches between them, a heartbeat apart. "What if we stop being?" he whispers. Outside, lightning tears across the sky, reflecting in their eyes. Two enemies, two exiles, standing on the edge of something neither was trained to feel. In that instant, the walls no longer hold them. Only the storm does. The storm has passed, but the air still trembles. Kale and Sarah move through the underlevels of the citadel, where forgotten machines hum like sleeping beasts. She finds an interface buried in the wall. Old human technology spliced with alien circuits. "This isn't your world's design," Kale says. "No," Sarah answers quietly. "It's ours." When she activates the device, fragments of her own memory flash. She sees herself leading alien warriors, giving orders in Verkai tongue. Her breath catches. "They made me one of you," she whispers. Kale's chest tightens. All her hatred, all his fear, engineered. Their war was a script written by others. "Then who are you?" he asks. "I don't know," she breathes. "But I want to." Kale watches as holographic recordings unfold before them. Human scientists dissecting captured Verkai, extracting their essence to forge hybrid soldiers. Among them, Sarah's image appears, eyes hollow, skin glowing faintly blue. He flinches. "They used you," he says, voice shaking. "And I let them," she replies. The guilt in her tone pierces deeper than any weapon. He steps closer, placing a hand over the flickering hologram, as if shielding her past self from further pain. The truth spreads through Kale's mind like fire through dry grass. His people didn't start the war. The humans did, desperate for the Verkai's energy to survive their dying world. He feels betrayal coil in his chest. But then he looks at Sarah, trembling, ashamed and human again. "You are not them," he says, voice low. "You were made by their lies." She meets his gaze, tears cutting paths through dust. "Then help me undo what I was made to be." The promise between them is quiet, but stronger than any command. Alarms echo through the corridors. The council has discovered their trespass. "They're coming," Kale warns. Sarah grips a plasma rifle from a fallen guard. "Then let's make the truth loud enough for everyone to hear." Together they sprint through collapsing halls, the citadel trembling as old power surges awake. Sparks shower from ruptured walls. The sky outside begins to split open. For the first time they fight side by side, not enemies, but echoes of the same broken dream. They reach the apex chamber, a cathedral of light at the citadel's heart. Sarah connects the recovered data core to the central nexus. Memories, millions of them, burst outward in radiant streams across the sky. Every lie, every death, every erased truth now visible to both races. Kale looks up as his ancestors' faces flicker among the stars. "They'll come for us," Sarah says softly. "Let them," Kale replies. We're done hiding behind orders. As the chamber fills with burning light, they stand side by side, their shadows merging into one. Arendor burns behind them. The twin suns rise over a horizon of ruin as Kale and Sira crossed into the ash desert. Vast, silent, haunted. The ground hums faintly beneath their boots, like the pulse of a dying god. The air tastes of iron and memory. Sarah stumbles, her strength fading, but Kale catches her before she falls. We're being hunted, he says quietly. By both sides, she nods. Then we're finally on the right one. They move through the heat waves, surrounded by whispers. Voices of the dead, carried by the wind. Each whisper calls their names, blending human and alien tongues into one mournful song. Night falls. The desert comes alive with echoes, shapes moving just beyond sight. Kale builds a small fire using shards of broken circuitry, the flames flickering green. Sarah sits across from him, exhaustion carving lines beneath her eyes. Do you believe in souls? She asks. The Ver Kai don't, he replies. We return to the pulse. She smiles faintly. Then maybe the pulse brought us here. He looks at her through the dancing firelight, and for the first time the silence between them feels sacred. The next morning they discover the bones of an ancient ship half buried in the sand, its hull etched with symbols of both species. Inside, they find stasis pods filled with long-dead hybrids, early experiments of the war. They were trying to merge us long before we met, Sarah whispers. Kale runs his hand along one of the pods, his reflection blending with the preserved face within. Maybe we're what they failed to create, he says. The words hang heavy in the dry air, equal parts grief and prophecy. That night, the ghosts come. Faint blue silhouettes drift across the dunes, whispering in the language of both worlds. Kale grips his weapon, but Sira steps forward, unafraid. They're memories, she says softly, not enemies. The ghosts circle them, voices overlapping until a single message forms. The truth must live. Kale feels his chest tighten. The same glow that connects them begins to flare. Beneath his skin again, brighter than before. The dead fade, leaving silence in a single direction carved in the sand by wind. They follow the wind's path until dawn reveals a fissure in the desert floor, a chasm glowing with golden light. The pulse core, Kale whispers, awe softening his voice. Sira stares down into the glow. It's alive. The ground rumbles as if the planet itself hears her. Kale reaches out, taking her hand. If the truth began here, maybe it can end here too. Their hands tighten, fingers locking as the light rises around them like a living breath. For the first time, neither feels alone in the silence. The fissure's light follows them as they descend into the pulse core. The walls shimmer with veins of molten gold, and the air vibrates with ancient energy. Kale's markings glow brighter, resonating with the pulse. Sarah's skin begins to shimmer faintly too, her hybrid essence awakening. It's reacting to us, she breathes. No, Kale murmurs, eyes wide. It's recognizing us. They step deeper until they reach a heart-like structure beating slowly beneath the planet's crust. With every throb, their shared glow intensifies. The war above fades into a whisper. For a moment, they belong to something larger than blood or origin. A rhythm that knows no species. Above ground, chaos reigns. The Verkai Council declares Kale a traitor, his name erased from their records. Human fleets converge on Arendor, led by Admiral Rourke, the same man who rewrote Sira's memories. Bring her back, he commands coldly. Dead or alive, both armies move toward the desert. Beneath the sands, Kale and Sira sense the tremor of engines and marching feet. They're coming, she whispers. Kale nods. Then this is where the lies end. He looks toward the surface, his eyes reflecting fire. They emerge from the fissure into blinding daylight. The battlefield stretches before them. Verkai ranks on one side, human legions on the other. The air trembles, heavy with dread. Sarah steps forward, helmet off, face bared to both armies. "You're fighting a war that never belonged to you," she shouts. The soldiers hesitate. Murmurs ripple through the lines. Kale moves beside her, his voice resonating like thunder. "We are not enemies. We are what they made and what they fear." For a heartbeat, silence reigns. Then the first shot rings out. Explosions tear the desert apart. Kale shields Sierra as plasma bolts crash into the sand around them. The pulse core beneath the ground responds, glowing through the fissures like veins of molten light. "It's waking up," Sarah yells. Kale looks down. The planet itself is alive, reacting to their bond, to their choice to defy the war. If it rises, he warns, Arendor will tear itself apart. Sierra grips his hand. "Then let's make sure it rises for the right reason." Their fingers interlock, steady, defiant, as the desert begins to tremble. The armies pause as the ground splits open. From the fissures rises a tower of living light, the pulse core erupting through sand and flame. Kale and Sierra stand at its center, illuminated by the storm they've unleashed. The soldiers lower their weapons, faces washed in awe and fear. "They'll never stop," Sierra whispers. Kale looks at her, his voice calm. "Then we give them something worth stopping for." He presses his forehead against hers. The glow around them merges into one blinding wave that sweeps across the desert, disarming every weapon and silencing the battlefield. For the first time in centuries, Arendor is quiet. The light does not fade, it grows. The pulse core climbs skyward, reaching the heavens like a living storm. The twin suns dim as though bowing to its brilliance. Kale and Sierra stand at its heart, weightless in the radiance. "What's happening to us?" Sarah whispers. "The core is merging our energies," Kale answers, voice trembling with awe. "We've become its voice." Visions flood their minds, memories of both worlds, the birth of Arendor, the first heartbeat of the Verkai. Pain and beauty collide within them until they no longer know where one ends and the other begins. The pulse isn't just awakening, it's remembering. Across the planet, the Verkai feel it first, the pulse thundering in their bones. Then the humans feel it too, a vibration deep within their veins. Weapons drop. Knees buckle. For a fleeting instant, every living being on Arendor shares the same heartbeat. In orbit, Admiral Rourke watches his instruments fail one by one. They are rewriting the planet, his officer stammers. Rourke's expression hardens. "Then we burn it before it burns us." He gives the order to fire. A fleet of missiles streaks downward, cutting through clouds toward the glowing desert below. Sarah sees the missiles through the light. Her heart stutters. They'll destroy everything. Kale closes his eyes, focusing on the rhythm of the pulse. "Not if we change its song." He grips her hands, their energy merging again. Around them, the light begins to hum. A deep, resonant tone that ripples through space. The missiles slow, caught in the vibration. One by one, they dissolve into stardust, burning harmlessly in the atmosphere. The people below gasp as the sky turns to gold. For a single moment, destruction becomes beauty, but power demands a price. The light begins to fracture, splitting into streams that tear through the air. Kale feels his strength fading, the energy devouring him from within. Sierra grabs his face, eyes wide with fear. "Stay with me," she cries. He smiles weakly. "You forget. I was never meant to live forever." She shakes her head. "You are now." Her tears shimmer in the light, suspended like tiny stars. The pulse flares again, wrapping around them, merging flesh and spirit. Kale's body glows brighter until it becomes pure light, his voice echoing inside her mind. You are not alone. The suns collapse into one. The world darkens, then blooms anew in silver light. The pulse core descends gently into the desert, now calm, alive, and singing. Sarah stands alone at its center, her skin faintly glowing with the patterns once etched across Kale's. She closes her eyes and listens. His heartbeat lingers inside her, steady and strong. The war is over. Not won, not lost, but transformed. The skies hum softly, twin worlds breathing as one. And in the hush between suns, Sira whispers to the wind, he broke me open and made me whole. Time slows. The desert breathes with new life. Flowers of glass and light push through the ash where blood once fell. Sarah walks barefoot across the shimmering dunes, the pulse whispering through her veins. Above, the merged sun glows softly, reborn and calm. She feels Kale's presence everywhere, in the wind, in the rhythm beneath her heart. You're not gone, she murmurs. His voice answers faintly, woven through the air. I am what you've become. She closes her eyes and feels him, every heartbeat a memory, every breath a promise. She was trained to command armies, to destroy. Now, she carries a universe within her. At the edge of the horizon, the remnants of both armies gather. Human soldiers and Verkai warriors stand side by side, weapons lowered, gazes uncertain. Sira approaches them slowly, her voice steady, carried by the pulse. The war you fought is over. The truth has already chosen peace for a moment. No one moves. Then, a Verkai elder kneels. A human captain follows. One by one they bow their heads, not to a ruler, but to the silence that binds them all. The sound that follows is not applause or war cries, but the faint hum of shared breath. Night returns for the first time in centuries. Stars ignite across the sky. Brighter than before, Sira builds a small beacon of crystal beside the pulse fissure, the place where she last saw him. The glow reflects in her eyes as she speaks softly. I'll keep it alive, Kale. The world you dreamed of, the wind shifts, carrying warmth through the chill. For a heartbeat, a shape of light forms beside her, a tall silhouette with eyes like obsidian dawn. Then it fades, leaving only calm. She smiles, tears tracing light down her cheeks. The universe listens. Generations later, the desert becomes a living city, half human, half Verkai. Children with luminous skin run beneath glass trees, their laughter carrying the same harmony that once ended the war. In the city's heart stands a monument of intertwined figures. One human, one alien, forever reaching toward each other. Legends call them the first pulse. The story passes from voice to voice, always beginning with the same words. Once, an alien warrior wanted to break the human, until he broke through the armor around her heart. In the stillness beyond time, where light and memory blur, Kale watches the world he and Sira remade. He feels her heartbeat echo through the pulse of the planet, through every creature born of their peace. She no longer walks beside him, yet she is everywhere, in every sunrise, every breath of wind. We did it. His voice murmurs into infinity. The pulse answers, carrying her reply through starlight. We became what we were meant to be. The suns rise again, one golden, one silver, casting their eternal light upon a world finally whole.